guys, welcome to my art channel. Thanks for stopping by to make some art with me. For more free art lessons, you could press the button below and subscribe right there on that red button. And I will see you really soon. Now let's get to making some art. Bye-bye. Hi guys, welcome to Underwater Imaginarium. Today we are going to create a three-dimensional underwater Imaginarium from your imagination. So first let's start with what materials you're going to need. You're going to need to start with a few different pieces of paper. For the background, we're going to be using blue paper. If you don't have blue paper, you can use paint. Okay, so don't worry about that. If you don't have blue paper or paint, you can use tissue paper. You can use white printer paper and draw waves on it. So no worries, but you will need paper because we're going to be working in a box, which is the next material that you'll need. You'll need some sort of a box. I have a shoe box. You'll also need a piece of white paper to draw some of our designs on. And if you have any other colored paper in bright yellows or oranges or greens, we're going to be making some seagrass and coral, so you're going to need color paper for that. You will need a scissor, some Scotch tape, either thread, string, or yarn, a glue stick. If you don't have a glue stick and all you have is a school glue, that's fine, a ballpoint pen, tin foil, plastic wrap, and you'll just be using a little bit of it. You'll need a piece of cardboard that's kind of thin and easy to cut. This is from the back of a pad. You can use cardboard. You can use cardboard from a tissue box. That would work, or a pizza box, or sometimes pasta comes in a box. You can use that cardboard. So any type of cardboard that's easy to cut is good to use. Then we're going to need a ballpoint pen, and we're going to need some markers. Now these are the most important things that you need today, and because we're going to be drawing on a different type of material than paper, we're going to be drawing on tin foil and we're going to be drawing on plastic wrap. You're going to need to have permanent markers, because a regular marker is just going to come off after you draw it. It's going to end up all over you. We don't want that. So you want different colored permanent markers. You can use Sharpie markers or any type of permanent marker will work fine. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on our background. Okay, so I'm using a shoe box. If all you have is a pizza box, that will work too, and it'll even smell really good, right? Okay, so the way to do the background is first decide what color you want back here. So I think I'm going to use this darker blue back here. Now again, if you don't have blue paper and all you have is paint, then you can start painting right in your background and your sides, because that's what we're going to do now. If you're using paper, what you're going to do is you're going to take the back of your box and you're going to lie it down onto the paper, and you're going to line it up with two sides of the paper, just like that. And then you will take a marker. I'm going to take a marker, and you're going to trace the box. This will give you an idea of the size of the piece of paper that's going to fit in here. So I'm going to cut out my background. See, I traced it, and now I'm going to cut it out. Just like that. And I'm going to glue it into the background, into the back of my cardboard box. So you can use Elmer's glue, but if you have a glue stick, I love to use glue stick for crafts because it dries very quickly and it's not as lumpy as Elmer's glue. And I'm going to place that inside my box and I'm going to smooth it out. And then I have the start of my background. The next thing I'm going to do, and hold on to your scraps because you might want them to add into your project later as seagrass. Okay, so I'm going to start my sides and I'm going to do it the same exact way I did the background. I'm going to measure it. And I'm going to trace it. Just like that. I'm going to cut it out real quick. And I'm going to use this piece as my pattern because you have two sides, so you need two pieces. And I'm going to cut out two pieces. Just like that. I'm going to take my glue stick, add some glue, and pop in those sides. I'm going to press it down so it's nice and flat and smooth and it sticks like that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to glue. And I'm going to paste my paper in. Box is pretty much set up. I'm going to put it aside and we're going to get started with some of the cool things that are going to go inside your underwater Imaginarium. I'll be right back. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create these awesome foil fish that are going to go inside your Imaginarium and they're going to actually hang down and look like they're swimming. I love these guys. So the way to make fish are very simple. You're going to need your piece of cardboard and you're going to need a piece of tin foil, and not too big. Okay, so to make the fish, what you're going to do is you're going to draw an oval. Like that. And then out of the oval, a little triangle. And that's a simple fish shape, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut that shape out. I'm first going to cut the oval part. And then I'm going to cut that little triangle part, that little tail. There we go. See, it's already looking good. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of glue and put it on my fish. And then I'm going to put it not in the middle, but in a corner and not too far to the edge of my tin foil. Okay, I want to have enough room to fold the foil over. Okay, so I'm actually going to cut a square out of the tin foil. So you can see that about how much tin foil I use for my fish. Okay, so one thing, when we're folding over the tin foil, we want to make sure it folds over and it's nice and tight around the shape of the fish. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make 2 cuts in my foil. And if you can see those orange dashed lines, that's where I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut right in this nick here where the fish tail meets the fish body, because that's the hardest place to fold over. But if I cut right on that area, it'll make it easier to fold over in there and it'll look nicer and neater. Okay, so I'm just folding right until I get to the cardboard fish. And from here, I'm just gonna fold. I'm gonna fold everything in. And as I'm folding, I'm also going to press down the foil. And as you can see, as I go around, let's see if I can do it this way for you. You start to press the foil around the shape of the fish, like that. And then I'm going to do it around the tail. And if you have a lot of extra like hanging out, you can trim some of that off and just press it down on the back. And I'm just going to fold that tail down, and look at that. We have the shape of the fish. Now I'm going to just kind of squish that tin foil or aluminum foil down like that. And I'm ready to draw on my fish. So first I'm going to come up with a design using my ballpoint pen. And it's really fun to draw on tin foil. Just have to be careful not to press too hard, because you can rip the foil and then you kind of want to start all over again. So I'm just going to make a design. I'm going to give him an eye and a mouth with a smile. And give him some little designs. Oops, I pressed a little too hard there, but I think we can cover that up. So I drew in there, and I drew some fish scales, and now the fun part is to take your markers and color them in. So if you don't have a ballpoint pen and you only have the markers, that's okay. You can just use the markers. And if you don't have the markers and you only have a ballpoint pen, that's okay too. You can just use the pen. And it'll make an interesting design in your fish. And I'm just going to add some fun extra colors and designs in my fish. The more color you add, the more imagination you use, the more fun it is. See? Nice colorful fish. Okay? So I'm going to put that aside, and I already have some fish, but you might want to make 1 or 2 more fish to add to your Imaginarium, okay? But for now, I'm going to put my fish aside so I can show you how to do our next step, which is how to make a mermaid. Okay, so to make the mermaid, you are going to need some cardboard, some foil, and a piece of paper. You can use the white paper, and then you can color the mermaid any color you want. So the way I do the mermaid is this. First, I'm going to cut a piece of cardboard out because it'll be easier to work with. And I don't want that cardboard any bigger than my hand because otherwise the mermaid will be too big to fit in the box, right? So I am going to draw the mermaid's body, and I'm going to show you some sample mermaids. Here's one that I have, and here's another that I have. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the mermaid's body, which is a fish body, right? We're going to do it a little bit different than the fish that we just drew. Instead of starting with an oval, we're going to do more of a large, long triangle. Like this, almost like an ice cream cone, okay? And then on the bottom of that shape, we're going to draw another triangle going in the opposite direction, like that. So this is going to be the mermaid's body, and this is the fin on the bottom, okay? So you are going to take that and cut it out. Like so. Okay, so now I have the mermaid's body. I need the top part of the mermaid. So what I'm going to do, to make it a little easier, is I'm going to trace my mermaid's body, or tail, onto a piece of paper. And if you want, you can actually use a pencil to do this. So I drew the body, and now I'm going to draw the mermaid to cut out. So I'm going to start with making an oval for the head. And then let me see if I could do this upside down for you. You have a little neck, and then your shoulders, and then your arms. Like that. Okay. So there I have the top of the mermaid. And then I can add in a face. Like so. And then I can add some hair. And when I do the hair, you remember, have you ever realized what your hair looks like when you go swimming underwater? It starts to fan out all over the place and it starts to move. So that's how I'm going to make the mermaid's hair. So it looks like she's underwater. And to do that, I'm going to actually make it kind of wavy. And I'm going to start like that. And maybe I'm going to do this in marker so you could see it. Okay, so that might be easier to see. And so I'm going to continue the hair with those waves so it looks like it's moving under the water, like that. So we have something like that. And then you can color in the hair any way you want to color it. And you can color in the body and the face as well. You can even add some jewelry if you wanted to. Maybe make a necklace that looks like it's made out of coral reef, like that. Or make some bracelets. However you want to decorate your mermaid, okay? So what you're going to do after you've done your picture of your mermaid is you're going to cut it out. Now, you don't have to cut out the whole entire body. but you do need to cut out part of this, and I'm going to just outline what you should cut out. You need to make what's called a tab, so you can put glue on it and then eventually attach, oh, there's the tail, attach the whole mermaid to the fish body. So you don't have to cut all this, but you need to cut a piece large enough to glue onto your fish body. Okay, so after that is cut out, the next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to put this aside, and we're going to work on the mermaid's body. So let me move this out of the way. So we are going to put a little bit of glue on our mermaid's body, just like we did with the fish. And we're going to glue it onto our foil. And there are two sides of the foil. One is kind of dull and one is a little brighter. Decide which side you want to use. I want my mermaid to be brighter, so I'm actually going to glue her body on the dull side. Like that. Okay? And I'm just going to make sure that's sticking to the glue. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the fish. Remember how I made those cut lines right where the tail and the body meet? Okay, like that. And I'm going to cut on those lines so I can get a better fold. And now I'm ready to fold. So here we go. And notice as I fold, I'm like smoothing down the side so it's nice and clean. Trying not to get the foil to bunch up. And anything that sticks out, I could just squish in the back. On the top, if you fold it in a little bit like you're wrapping a present, like that. And then you fold it down. Okay, I'm just going to squish that back in. So now I have the top part. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. I'm going to fold the sides over, make sure they're nice and neat next to the cardboard. I'm going to take the tail, the stuff that's sticking up, and I'm going to fold it in a little, almost like a birthday present that I'm wrapping, and I'm going to push it down like that. And here you go. Okay. Squish it a little on the table to squish down all that foil. And now I can decorate the mermaid body the same kind of way we decorated the fish. Use lots of different colors, use lines, you could use flowers and hearts, however you want to decorate your mermaid. That's all up to your imagination. I'm just going to go very quickly just to show you. I'm going to just get some pink and yellow colors going on in here. You don't have to work this quickly. I'm just working quickly so I can show you and give you time to work. But it's kind of fun to work on tin foil. Colors show up really nicely. Oops. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I have the finished mermaid tail is I have to glue it to my mermaid. So remember that flap I told you about that we need? That's where you're going to put the glue. So I'm going to put my glue here, like that. I'm going to take my mermaid tail and I'm going to press it down over that flap, like that. And then I'm going to do another step just to make sure. I'm going to turn my whole mermaid over. I'm going to take a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm gonna just add an extra layer of tape here, just to give it a little extra protection, and there I have my mermaid. So now you have your background done, you have a couple of really funky looking fish, you have a mermaid. The next thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to make a jellyfish out of plastic wrap. So this is really fun and very simple. So you are just going to need a small piece. Actually, it'd probably be easier if I did it this way. You just need a small piece of plastic wrap. Just be careful that you don't cut yourself because there are ridges on the bottom for cutting the wrap. Okay, and I'm going to put this aside because we're going to use that again later. So with the plastic wrap, to make a jellyfish, what you're going to do is lay the paper or the plastic out, and you're going to pinch right in the middle, and you're going to grab up the middle like that. So you're going to have a ball, and then you're going to have this plastic, like, I don't know what to call it, skirt around it, okay? Take a piece of Scotch tape and wrap it around that ball. That's going to be the head of the jellyfish, and the jellyfish are really cool. They look something like this, okay? And we're going to hang them, so they're going to be really awesome. Okay, so once you have your basic jellyfish body, you can see if you can fan out that plastic skirt part like that, and you should have a little place for a head. You could actually put a face on here if you like, and give your jellyfish a face, okay? And then what you're going to do, a jellyfish has, if you can see from here, they have these, I don't know if they're called tentacles or they're just their stingers, but they're usually very pretty and very colorful. But if you touch them, those are the things on the jellyfish that'll sting you and hurt, so be careful. But we're going to make these little stingers, and I'm not sure if you could see them because there's a lot of color going on here, okay? By taking our marker and making just wavy lines all around the jellyfish. Just wavy, simple wavy lines. And maybe if I show it to you against a piece of paper, you'll be able to see the wavy lines a little bit better. Okay, so I started my lines in blue, but I'm going to make them in all different colors because I believe jellyfish have all different colors on them. And plus, I like lots of different colors. So I'm going to add pink squigglies to my jellyfish. So, see how I just keep adding more squiggly lines? Well, I'm going to add some green. And you can add as many colors as you like because it's your imaginary jellyfish. Okay? And when you're done, it should have lots of colors that look like this. And we're actually going to bring this down just a little bit like that. And now we're going to put it aside with the fish and the mermaid, and we are going to make some seagrass and coral for the inside of your Imaginarium.